Hello Standard 5. Today we will be looking at a story, and it is a funny story. It is called The Mango Story. What is that mango story? And I hope you would have tasted good tasty mangoes, is it not, in the summer season. And let's today see what is this mango story is all about, and I hope you will enjoy this story. It was a day the children of Springer's school looked forward to Grandparents' Day. So, as you are studying in DWPS, right, the same way these children were studying in Springer School, and that was a Grandparents' Day. I hope you would have learned many things from your grandparents, especially you would have heard many stories. In my childhood, I heard a lot of stories from my grandparents. Let's see. This day meant loads of fun storytelling, games, activities and singing. That particular day, so storytelling, games, activities and singing will be conducted. Amit's grandfather, Mr. Sharma, was quite a favorite with the children of class 5. So, Amit's grandfather, Amit was a child in the school, and his grandfather is favorite for the class 5, and you are also in class 5, right? Now, he always had a funny stories to tell, a comedy story, humor story to tell. He would ask the children questions in between, sing a song or two, and sometimes get them to wear masks and act. So, he makes the children to be active. He will make them to act with the mask by wearing mask, and sometimes he used to sing one song or two songs, right? He used to ask a lot of questions also. What story are you going to tell us today? Grandpa asked one of the children. So among all the children, one child asked Grandpa, what story are you going to tell us? Do you want to hear an animal story or a funny story about silly people? He asked a question. Do you want to hear an animal story or funny story about common people? A funny story about silly people. They all chimed in. So they all, in the chorus, everyone together, all the children together, they said funny story. They want to hear funny story from Amit's grandfather. Well, I have got your story ready, but first a riddle. So he said, story is ready with me, but before telling the story, he would like to ask riddle. What's meant by riddle? Asking question. And we can say it is a common question, but where you have to use your thinking, a logical thinking as well. One day, a man was walking through the streets when he saw a small fruit shop. A man was walking in the street, and while walking, he crossed a small fruit shop. There he saw an apple and a man. Human being, a man, and he saw an apple. Grandpa coughed. He coughed. He's old, right? So he coughed after telling those sentences. Go. Then he paused and asked, paused means stopped, and asked, what did the man buy and eat? He asked. The man who crossed the fruit shop, he saw an apple, and man, what did he buy and eat? We will give you the answer later. Tell us the story first. The children demanded. Now the children wanted. Demanded means they want the story. They said that for the riddle they will give the answer later. So Grandpa began his story. Now Amin's grandfather is starting his story. A certain man by the name of Gopal was expecting a visit from a friend he had not met in many days. Here, a man called Gopal was waiting for a friend. He is going to, or he is about to receive a guest to his home. Who he was? He was his friend who he had not met for many years. He knew that his friend liked mangoes very much. So he asked the servant to go and buy the finest mangoes in the market. So whenever our relative comes, what we do, what is the best food they like? Mother used to prepare and serve. In the same way, his friend liked, Gopal's friend liked mangoes very much. So he asked the servant, Gopal asked the servant to get good mangoes from the market. When the servant came back, he showed the 2 mangoes he had bought to his master. Gopal was satisfied that were the best. So after returning from market, Gopal's servant showed 2 mangoes, and Gopal saw 2 mangoes, and he thought himself that it is the best one. He told the servant to dice them. Dice means cut them and serve them to the guest when he arrived. So he has to cut and he has to serve, provide when his Gopal's friends come. The mangoes smelled sweet. Smelled so sweet. So you would have tasted mangoes, and when you smell it, how it smelled? Good or bad? Obviously good, right? But if it is a bad mango, we cannot expect good smell. I wonder what they taste like. If they smell so sweet, they must taste even sweeter, thought the servant as he cut them. I'll taste just this one piece. So now the wicked thinking began to arise in the mind of Gopal's servant. When he started to slice the mangoes, the smell of the mangoes entered. He smelled very sweet. He thought, if the smell is very sweet, then the taste must be good. So he thought, I would taste one piece. However, he could not resist the temptation. What is meant by temptation? He cannot control. He wanted to taste it. He knows that it is bad. It is not a good thing to taste because the mangoes are kept for his masters, that is Gopal's friend. But he could not control. He wanted to eat it. That is called temptation. To go on eating. So now what happened? He tasted one piece. 1 became 2. Now after eating, wow, very tasty. So now 1 piece become 2 piece. He put on another piece. 2 become 4. Now as the second piece went inside, he found out. He felt very tasty. 3rd piece. Then 4th piece. And soon there were no more mangoes left. So in the same way he began to continue eat, and at last there were no mangoes. Suddenly he saw the guest coming towards the house. What happened? Now guest is also coming. There were no mangoes to serve. Now let's see what plan he is making. Oh no, what I am going to do now? There are no mangoes to serve the guest. Think. He said, no, I have eaten all the mangoes. Now there are no mangoes left. What should I do? So he started to think. He grabbed a rusty knife. Grab means he took the rusty knife, the knife which is full of rust. In the iron, especially iron thing, when it is exposed to the water, so what happened? The brown color layer forms on it, right? That is called rust. The rusted knife rushed to his master and said, I can't cut the mangoes, the knife is too blunt. Blunt means it is not having the sharpness, right? If the knife is sharp, then it can cut all the things, right? Okay, so he took the rusted knife and went to the master. With this I cannot cut the mangoes, please sharpen it. Okay, so now Gopal said, I'll sharpen it. Gopal offered and went to the sharpening wheel in the garden shed. So he had a sharpening stick, sharpening wheel. So where the particular stone, they used to, we say that as grinding stone, so they can sharp the materials, especially iron tools, they can sharp. So he went to the sharpening wheel which is in the shed in his garden. Then the servant ran to meet the man who was coming. So after servant gave the knife, now he is going or running towards his friend. Beware, beware, he said anxiously. Don't come to our house, he pleaded. My master has gone mad. He wants to cut off both of your ears. So he wants to cut what? Ears. So he said, my master has gone mad, so you please don't come. He wants to cut both the ears. Cut my ears, exclaimed the man, turning pale. Why? So he said, what? He's going to cut my ears? So his face color changed, pale. Why? Because become fear. Why he wants to cut his ear? Yes, see, there he is sharpening a knife, said the servant, pointing at his master. The man saw that his host did really have a knife in his hand and was sharpening it. He also had a very strange look on his face. Now what is doing? So the servant pointed at his master Gopal. See what he is doing. So there he's sharpening. He's sharpening the knife. Okay. And he saw the face also. Gopal's face also changed. Okay. So anyway, it is blunt knife. So when it is when he is sharpening, so he has to give a lot of pressure to it. So his face might have changed. So his friend, Gopal's friend, observed from the far. I'm not going in yet. He told the servant firmly means strongly, and turning around quickly started walking away as fast as he could. Now he said to his servant that I'll not go. And he said strongly, and he turned and very fast he began to walk. Why? He has gone mad. He thought that he has gone mad and he will come and cut his ears. The servant rushed very fast. He went back to his master and told him that the guest had run away with the mangoes. Now you see what he did. He told a lie that his friend has taken his 2 mangoes and he ran away. What? Said his master, horrified. The greedy fellow, has he taken all the mangoes? Now he said, it's a very terrible thing. How he can take my mangoes, 2 mangoes? Yes, said the servant. Yes, master, he has taken your 2 mangoes. Now let's see what Gopal is doing. Gopal, with the knife still in his hand, ran after the man, shouting, please give me one. Give me one at least. So what is saying? Now he did not leave the knife there. With the knife he began to run. When someone is chasing you with the knife, what do you think? Suppose you are walking on the street and someone is shouting and coming, chasing with a knife. What do? You started to run, right? Because knife takes away one's life. Okay. Now he began to run with the knife. The other man thought he was asking for one of his ears and he ran for his life. So he was asking for 1 mango. Gopal was asking for 1 mango, but his friend thought that he was asking for one of the ears. So he started to run. The children laughed and laughed as Grandpa mimicked the man holding on to his ears and running away. Grandfather began to act. Suppose if you are that person, so how you will be in that position, in the same way, grandpa began to act by holding his ears. So everyone began to laugh. I can't stop laughing, said Ashraf. Ashraf is one of the child in the class 5. He said that I cannot stop laughing. He could not control his laughing. And now for the riddle. Has anyone thought of the answer? Asked Grandpa. After the story, he asked for the riddle's answer. Yes, I have, Meena said excitedly. I think you meant he saw a man go, which means he bought an apple. So Meena said that the man bought an apple because we cannot buy another man and go. Alright? Brilliant thinking, Meena. Let's clap for her, said Grandpa. Grandpa said, give claps. And for you, Grandpa, they all chorused. So, what did you learn from the story? Asked Grandpa. Now, after that, everyone clapped for grandfather for his story, and grandfather began to ask, what did you learn from this story? Don't do bad things, and you won't have to tell lies. Zoe observed promptly, carefully. So Zoe is one of the students, and Zoe told that we should not do bad things, and if you did or if you do bad things, we have to lie. As Gopal's servant, he ate all the mangoes. Now he lied to Gopal, that is his master, as well as to Gopal's friend. Grandpa was happy that they had understood this story. So on that Grandparents' Day, Grandpa was very happy because student understood the moral of the story. Now it's our turn, my turn and your turn. What we should do? We should do only good thing. And if we don't do good thing, then we will be forced to lie. So students, please learn from the story that we should not do bad things and we should not lie as well. I think as those children, you have also understood this story. Thank you.